Hey guys, Chris with Steeda here. We are at an SCCA Autocross event. We have a 2020 GT500 carbon fiber track package and a 2019 GT350R here at South Georgia Motorsports Park with the Dixie region SCCA. Now, with 760 horsepower in the GT500 and 526 in the 350R, it's obvious that 760 is going to really outweigh it on the road course. However, here on the autocross track, it's all about handling and less about power. So it's really going to even that playing field. Really curious how things are going to pan out today, but we'll see how these two cars perform. Wow guys, what a day. We had the 19 GT350R, the 20 GT500 with the carbon fiber track pack, and man, both these cars performed amazing. So I guess you guys are wondering how fast these cars were. Well, the GT500 ran a 50.3 seconds around the autocross course, whereas the 350R, believe it or not, was a half second faster at a 49.8. Now, for the GT500, it's got 760 horsepower. Needless to say, you really can't use all those horses here on the autocross course, but the 350R, you can. Granted, 526 horsepower is a lot of power, but it's a lot more usable here because the rev range goes all the way up to 8250. It has that shelf and the torque curve around 3,500. It might be a little bit more sluggish getting out of those corners, but once you're up and going, it's a lot more forgiving at the limit. Now, unlike the GT350R, which is super comfortable at the limit, the 500, at least on an autocross course, you gotta be a lot more careful with 760 horsepower at your right foot. In a road course atmosphere, this would be a different outcome. Autocross, you're in a parking lot, you really can't utilize every single horsepower that the car has, especially with these Mustangs. However, on a road course, you have all 760 horsepower at your beck and call. There were a few things I noticed while driving both these cars on track today. The first one would be the brakes. Both these cars have insane braking potential from the factory. However, one thing is that the 350R actually had more initial bite. When I pushed down that brake pedal, it let me know that the car was coming to a stop. Now, however, the GT500 obviously has large 16.5-inch rotors, 6-piston brakes up front, also are quite confidence inspiring, but it just didn't have the same initial bite that the 350R had. The GT500 is easy to drive at the limit, and it's amazing how much power you can put down out of turns. However, the 350R is just even easier to drive at the limit, and that's simply because the car weighs 300 plus pounds less. Now, one thing to note is both of these cars are still running the stock tires, Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s. Now, we were able to make 12 runs with both of these cars today, and they were actually getting a little greasy towards the end of the day. Now, another thing to note is that both of these cars felt extremely composed given all of the crazy inputs that come with an autocross course. Now, Ford Performance did say that they put a revised MagneRide calibration on the GT500, and needless to say, it complements the extra weight, a couple extra pounds, very well. The last thing to point out would be the elephant in the room, the transmission. The GT500, Ford Performance and Tremec worked really hard on developing the 7-speed dual clutch transmission in the GT500, and needless to say, the calibration, it was awesome. It kept me in the gear I wanted when I wanted it. Now, needless to say, these two cars are absolute track monsters. Regardless of which snake you choose, you simply can't go wrong with these two awesome Ford Performance vehicles. Now, if you want to see more content on these two Ford Performance vehicles, then be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and don't forget, speed matters.